Rounding a number means replacing the number you have with an approximate version of it that is shorter and simpler to work with. While the approximate version is not completely accurate, it is relatively close to the original number, which means working with it is a little bit easier and gives you a roundabout answer instead of worrying about all of the ancillary extra digits at the end that might not matter to you for a question that's being asked. So let's look at this number here. We have 6,781,239,465.724069. 6 billion, billion spot, 700 millions, 8 10 millions, 1 millions, 2 hundred thousands, 3 ten thousandths, 9 the thousandth spot, 4 is the hundreds, 6 is the tens, 5 is the ones, sometimes called the unit spot as well. Then there's your decimal. 7 is the tenths, so after you go past the decimal to the right, you're going to have everything ending in a THS, so tenths. 2 is the hundredths, 4 is the thousandths, the 0 is the ten thousandths, 6 is the hundred thousandths, and 9 is the millionth, and so on and so on. But for the sake of this, that should be all you really need to worry about. So how do you estimate or round a number? Very simple. You're going to look at the digit or number, whichever word you want to use, to the right of the digit number where the rounding is to occur. And one of two things is going to happen. If the digit number to the right is 5 or greater, add 1 to the digit to be rounded, and then replace all the digits or numbers to the right with zeros. Everything else after it is just zeros. Or 2, if the digit number to the right is less than 5, do not change the digit number to be rounded, just leave it alone. But you still replace all the digits or numbers to the right with zeros. So those are the steps. Those are what you need to do, is just two things. So we're going to look at a number, the number we have above. I'm just going to shorten it down a little bit on the left and the right, and we're going to round at various spots. So we're going to work with 1,239,465.72406. So first we're going to round to the nearest hundreds place. So first off, where is the hundreds? Simple. Hundreds is going to be right here where the 4 is. So do I need to round it up or leave it the same? Easiest way to find out is just to look to the number to the right, which is going to be the 6. It is obviously more than 5. So that means I'm going to take 4 and I'm going to add 1 to it. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 9, 4, or sorry, 5. Forgot to round it already. And then everything after the 4 becomes zeros. So 0, 0. And typically you don't have to put 0.0000. That's just a waste of time. If you do, it's not wrong, but it's not necessary. So this would be this number up here rounded to the hundredths place. Now let's do it again, but we're going to round to the nearest hundredths place. So since it ends in a THS, hundredths is going to be, so decimal, tenths, hundreds is going to be right here at the 2. So we are now going to look immediately to its right with the 4. Since it's a 4, it is less than 5, which means we're not going to do anything to the 2. We're just going to leave it alone. So we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 9, 4, 6, 5.72. And then everything else after that, the zeros, are unnecessary to write. Now round to the nearest 10 thousandths. Where is that? 10 thousandths is going to be here at the 3, which means we are going to look at the 9. 9 is more than 5, so we are going to take the 3 and round it up to a 4. So we're going to have 1, 2, 4, and then everything else after that is going to be zeros. And again, we don't need to put a decimal 0.00 after that. It is unnecessary. Now we're going to round to the nearest 10 thousandths. So we're going to go to the decimal and look for the 10 thousandths. So it's going to be tenths, hundreds, thousandths, 10 thousandths. It's going to be right here at the 0. So it means we're going to look immediately to its right at the 6. 6 is obviously 5 or more. So it means we're going to take that 0 and move it up one spot. So we're going to get 1, comma, 2, 3, 9, comma, 4, 6, 5, decimal 724, and then we just put a 1 because that's all we're rounding it to. Now we're going to round to the nearest ones, or again, sometimes it's called the unit place. So the 1 or the unit place is going to be the number right before the decimal. And again, even though there's a decimal there, we're going to look immediately to its right and see if we're going to round. So we're going to look at the 7. 7 is 5 or more, which means that 5 is going to become a 6. So 1, comma, 2, 3, 9, comma, 4, 6, 6. And there's no need to put the decimals of 0.000. Oop, lost my line. Close enough. Now we're going to round to the nearest tenth. So tenth is going to be the number right after the decimal. So it's going to be here. And we're going to look immediately to its right, which is the 2. 2 is less than 5, so we are not going to touch 7. 7 is going to stay as it is, and everything else is going to be as it is given to us, 465.7, and no need to put zeros after the 7. So make sure I don't erase the line. And now we're going to round to the nearest millions. Simple enough. Million is right here at the 1, so we're going to look immediately over at the 2. 2 is less than 5, so we're just going to have 1, comma, 0, 0, 0, comma, 0, 0, 0, and that's it. And this is how you would round numbers depending on where it's asked of you. Again, 5 or more, round the number you want up by 1, 4 or less, leave it alone.